Time to get to business with Employee of the Month, Rosespanner Meursault. We grabbed Spy Sinclair for 10% damage reduction, LCB Gregor for some extra healing per turn, as well as blunt damage duo of R Corp Ishmael and LCB Heathcliff, for a total of 20% extra damage. Now, Rosespanner Meursault is oddly satisfying to use, even though he is really boring, which kinda fits him. If you think about it, we get a full tired office worker experience by using him, so there we go. His skill 1 is a single coin gloom blunt attack that inflicts tremor. His skill 2 is a 2-coin pride blunt attack that inflicts tremor, and his skill 3 is a 4 coins sloth blunt attack that for some reason generates and uses charge to inflict and burst some tremor. Now, there is not that much of excitement in his kit, given that he purely revolves around just using tremor or, stagger, which doesn't really work that well in the game. But there's one notable thing about Rosespanner Meursault, and it's his ability to solo fuel pursuance, which will be extremely helpful and heavily abused throughout the run, as it is our only AoE option. Other than that, Rosespanner Meursault lives up to his theme of an overworked office worker in gameplay as well. Throughout floor 1 we managed to get 5% chance ego gift in form of pinpoint logic circuit, which at least it is removed from the gift pool if nothing else. And right after we go through double event node, giving us not only gathering skulls, which again we at least remove from the gift pool, but the amount of enemies we broke made Heavenly Scribe appear and give us Lithograph, which will be insanely valuable healing option going forward. When I've seen a blunt human fight, I was very close to just giving up the run instantly, given the fact that the ego gifts we've gotten were really mediocre, and my mind instantly just goes to, it's Guido. But I gave it a try, and thankfully it was only G Corp, which made me realize just how much stronger Guido is than any other human fight boss available in the game right now. Ida is close, since they cover pretty much all damage types between Ida herself and her goons. I truly hope new Mirror Dungeon changes the encounters a little bit, hopefully removing human fights from the boss nodes. But with G-Corp squashed under our fist, we move on to floor 2 with Blue Zippolator as a boss reward, making our support passive choices and available egos way more broad. First shop grants us somewhat useful lowest star, as well as really meaningless Crown of Roses that is there purely to have higher chance for getting the good gifts later on. As for support passives, we recruit G-Corp Otis for ever so useful random buffs that help adapt to different floors on the go, Molar Yisang to make Tremor Burst somewhat usable, and W Faust to make the stagger threshold on Meursault skill 3 a bit stronger. Floor 2 started with Picatulas, and yeah, most battles will be really long and will stall through them, since we just use Pursuance, hope it staggers, and finish them off one by one. So I'll use this time to say that for the new Mirror Dungeon that is coming soon, trademark, we don't know the exact date, they will use the weak Abnormality fights alongside Picatulas as an encounter. Stuff like weak versions of Inquisitors, or even Golden Apple and Ebony Stem-like bosses to just be available in Abnormality nodes. I'm just tired of only seeing Picatulas, and some Picatula fights just take more effort than these bosses. But with this fight done, we are rewarded by Tomorrow's Fortune, which will immensely help us comp to find much needed better gifts along the way. We get an event with Perversion, which, given our heavy reliance on Pursuance, will be a great asset to keeping it up and ready at most times. And with that we're already at floor 2 boss, Calendar. Now, thankfully Calendar is a great boss for us right now, since we can spend a long time with relatively no threat whatsoever. Worth mentioning is the fact that clay dolls do not count as separate entities for on-kill effects, making perversion way less impactful, but we did have Zippoliter and just using our skills help us immensely getting resources for future floors. And after all, if we lose too much health, we have Lithograph and Rest Station on floor 3 that we can always use. Our boss reward selection wasn't the best, but since I already had Crown of Roses, I decided to pick up Broken Revolver, as better clashing, especially against some abnormalities, could always be helpful. We had enough health for me to decide to recruit extra sinners for our team, especially given the fact that the notorious gambling duo is here, to give us 40% extra damage on head rolls, as well as Chef Ryoshu for some extra healing on kill. As we begin moving through floor 3, a Pekatula node gave us choice between Bloody Gadget and Late Bloomer's Tattoo. And given the fact that Late Bloomers activates on majority of our kit, I decided to go with it in spite of 20% damage boost that Bloody Gadget provides. After crashing through some extra battle nodes, we get Melted Spring that will synergize well with Broken Revolver, once we can apply Sinking, that is. I would kindly request that you ignore the fact that I messed up the option on Fiery Down gift event and took that permanent final power -1 debuff. I genuinely mess it up way too often, and it is concerning how bad my memory is when it comes to this specific event. But me being a dumb idiot aside, Lore 3 ends with Beast Inquisitors, which either deal 4 times effective damage or barely any damage at all, depending on if they decide to slash or pierce us. With Screwloose Wallop, we can also change our sin resistances, so we are no longer dead to lust, which is their only sin affinity. We did need an extra Chain of Others, since its passive does grant a really good protection every turn, but that also meant another Screwloose Wallop to switch our resistance back right away, which unfortunately does inflict surgery on us, reducing our maximum hit points. It is also important to mention our health at the end of battle is purely dependent on the number. So if we end up on full HP but it's like 100, we will only have 100 at the end of the battle. Other than that, beasts serve no problem, and we could have moved ahead effortlessly, rewarded with another unimpressive ego gift selection. However, Glupo's Melted Eyeball does work with our skill 3 and Pursuance, so we start really decreasing defense levels on enemies with our setup now. Floor 4 shop was an interesting one. I could have totally gone for Charged Glove and hoped for more charge related gifts, but even then, it would be really difficult to justify getting it over both Sun Shower, that will increase our damage by a lot, as well as a Little and To Be Naughty plushie, which gives us 20% damage reduction if we can get any amount of bleed support. We didn't need any passives, so we jump right into another Pekatula fight, giving us Dust to Dust, that we technically can activate with not only skill 3 but Guard and Pursuance. It's almost as if this run is more about Pursuance than Rosespanner Meursault. But with some other human fights that we go through somewhat easily, the final node before boss has been the hardest battle of this run. 2 K-Corp class 3 and 1 Excision staff alongside 2 other K-Corp employees was a node I was not ready for in the slightest, especially since this is just a normal fight. It wasn't an elite, it was supposed to be just press Pursuance, but no. We had to use Chain of Others and Screwloose Wallop pretty much every turn to hold on to our dear lives, since both of these generate a lot of protection for us. But protection isn't the only way through, and we had to use Pursuance to dish some damage as fast as we can, since K-Corp staff just heals every turn, and we do not have time with our surgery stacks getting dangerously high. After many restarts, I managed to get through this fight, heavily battered and unable to heal before boss. I had to do the hardest decision of the run. I ordered Meursault to win. And as the fish stares us down, I use the ancient technique of abusing that one bug that was happening a while ago to drive the narrative forward and certainly not just get this run over with easier. In all seriousness, while the bug was going around, I allowed myself one use, as long as I don't use it for floor 5, and honestly, this one was the most fitting I could have asked for. And hey, the game agreed. Why else would it give me grey code after all? In the shop I healed up Meursault and got wrist guard for our charge unit with a lot of ways to, keep that charge. And floor 5 greeted me with first aid kit event, a homeward event, some corp goons we punched into another mirror dungeon, some more events giving us extra speed that we wasted on Pekatulas, but hey, at least we get barbed snare out of it. And well, as we approach the shop, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy.